tell the black woman or the black man, are you going to see Contact? No, I ain't going to see that shit. You see, you ain't into what it is. Time is out for the foolishness. Don't you know that they came to the Academy Awards this year, and as a result, none of the American films hardly got any awards because they're saying that white people are saying now, not the idiots, you got a lot of idiots out there. I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about a group of white people that run the country saying, we are tired of movies that don't challenge us intellectually or spiritually, for what little spirit they have. So therefore, we want movies to either make us think if it ain't spiritual, or we want the shit that we don't see normally. So therefore, that's what the agenda is for all movies now. You see. But yet, we still up in here with this bullshit. And the white boy done abandoned all that. Just something that you need to know at this particular time on what's actually going on. So now, let's deal with some things. I told you that in this particular book here, The Black Sun, there's some things in here about mumia. And mumia was how white people used to eat the mummies. And they actually would get rejuvenated and revitalized. And I should have got somebody go get me some tissue out of the bathroom. You know, this light is hot. And all. Or some of the brown stuff or whatever. Yeah. That's by Peter Moon. It's called Black Sun. And they used to actually be revitalized. That is actually vampirism, and that's the vampirism of what they was talking about based on vampires. That's what they were actually talking about. That's what they were actually talking about. And so when you see these white people talking about vampires, and I've said this before, they're actually talking about eating melanin. And basically, and that's what they're talking about. And so whenever you see that, you know what's actually going on at this particular time. Okay, let's wipe off a little bit. And we got a lot to cover, so don't worry about that. We understand that the white boy was experimenting with LSD. With LSD. I guess you're going to have to get that all off or whatever. It started leaking. The white boy was experimenting with LSD. And as a result, this is the closest he has gotten to tapping into some melanated form of existence from the 60s, where they were very hurt after they shut down the whole LSD trip for them. Also, especially you got Timothy Leary, who died recently, that never forgave the government for shutting down all the LSD experiments because they didn't want the amount of, see, when they shut down certain things, it's not like the government doesn't experiment with it. They just have a group of elite people, the Illuminati, say, no, we got research that's going on secretively. We don't want the main public to understand what the hell is going on. So, but anyway, we even found out that LSD is the main thing that created this whole Microsoft and this Bill Gates shit. You see, this whole Bill Gates thing, which we know now that Bill Gates is considered, number one, he's in his early 40s. He's is it late 30s?
I'm 35.
Huh?
I'm 35.
No, he's older than that. About 37 or 38. Okay, yeah. Now we know that this Bill Gates is actually acting as he is the Messiah for the European based on a New Age Messiah or a computer Messiah. He is the Messiah for them. As a matter of fact, you got to go back and look at the movie The Net. And the whole shit was based on something called the gatekeeper. That's Bill Gates. The gatekeeper. That's Bill Gates. So you need to study the movie The Net again and find out what's actually going on, because all the shit that was going on up in there has something to do with Bill Gates, which is a form of the Messiah for them. That's why he came down to Atlanta this summer in June and gave the Atlanta University about $8 million. You see. Gave them about $8 million for some computer research. You see. So he's basically the Messiah that they're actually talking about at this particular time. That they're actually talking about. And so you need to go back and look at that particular movie. You know they have genocide. They had an HBO special and they had genocide. We're still on the hard copy. You know that they had an HBO special and they actually have a mass genocide right now in Kansas City. They had an HBO special that came on about 2 months ago, and they got brothers dying in Kansas City like 2 and 3 a day. Now, when they say 2 and 3 a day, you know that it's a lot more than damn 2 and 3 a day in the type stuff. So they have the actual genocide going on and all. Anyway, you can get that HBO specialist actually talking about that. I told you before that it's time for you, and I said this the last time, to this great, now that you can go and study the Greek myth, because the Greek myth was a group of black people. The original people who started Greece was a group of black people called the Etruscans. And lo and behold, I said that a couple of months ago, and I've been saying it for the last couple of months. The Etruscans started both Greece and Rome. And now there's a book out on the Etruscans. And I didn't get the name of the actual book. I didn't write the name of the book down. But there's a book out on the Etruscans. So this is more research for people that's historically minded to go get it. They sell it. I saw it at Barter's bookstore. And if you go to any historical section in these bookstores, you might be able to get that book. But this is another thing we say, we're just uncovering history of our particular people. But the key was, they got some stuff called runes. Anybody know what runes are? Runes are these divination systems that supposedly came out of Europe. But when we ask, well, where did they get it from? The channel came say something by some way of Egypt or Hemmitt. And what the real deal is when I got this particular book on the Etruscans and they showed the Etruscan writing, it was the same writing that was on these runes were on the Etruscan writing. So that means that we're talking about a group of black people that even traveled up into Europe at that particular time. So I'm proposing also that you start working with the runes. If you go to Barnes and Nobles, they sell them real cheap, and you can get the box and the whole set. So start working with the actual runes at this particular time also. At this particular time, there's no such thing as secrets no more. What I mean by that is the only reason why this so-called Masonic stuff was even kept a secret is not because we didn't have secrets in ancient African society. We had ancient spiritual systems that we went to learn spiritual knowledge.